taking on Kemba and the Celtics at 7:30 Eastern. Then it's Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz hosting Kawhi and the Clippers. Coverage begins with Stephen A's pregame Sports Center. That'll be at 7 o'clock on ESPN and the app. Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'm here with Brian Windhorst, who we are holding captive for one more segment because Michael Wilbon got slightly held up. He will still be expected to stop by, but in the meantime, me and Scottie Pippen, we're just going to stay on either side of Brian, and he's not allowed to leave. It's time to play Jump Ball on The Jump. Let's start ahead of Lakers Jazz on ESPN tonight. Who do you trust more this season, Scottie, the Lakers or the Jazz?
I'm going to say I trust the Jazz a little bit. I think they're a younger team. They're a little bit more hungry right now, and they got a lot to prove. I think the Lakers is just going to be a team sort of idling for the postseason. You know, you got to save some minutes with LeBron here and there and manage him. And I just see that this is going to be an opportunity for the Jazz to just go all out. Donovan Mitchell going for an all-star year.
Boy, has there been quite a bit of LeBron slander the last few days because he didn't have a great opener. I think he's still a damn good player, and I know Anthony Davis is a good player. And while I respect the Jazz a lot, Scottie, I'm taking the team that has 2 top 5 players in the league because I think, yeah, against the Clippers, they're not going to look their best, but against most teams, they're going to look pretty good. I think the same thing about the Rockets. They didn't look so good last night against the Bucks. Give them a chance against the other 28 teams. I think the Lakers are going to have a great season. Do I think it's going to be a championship season? I do not.
It's tough just because the Lakers have more variance, right? If something happens to one of those 2 stars, if either one of them miss, I mean, in the Western Conference, even a month, right? Then
2 weeks,
right? Then you can see the Jazz finishing ahead of them. They have obviously the star power that you just talked about. The Jazz, you look at them every season and the way their schedule is set up, it's a little bit more balanced this season, but again, like the last couple seasons, they have a tougher schedule in the first half and an easier schedule in the second half. So if they don't get off to the start that maybe you expect the Jazz to get off to, just realize they are dealing with a different strength of schedule than maybe a lot of the rest of the league.
Exactly.
And the second half of the season, they will have a lighter strength of schedule.
And Mike Conley will not shoot 1 of 16 every night.
And I also think that their team they're not going to have to manage minutes with any of their players.
Absolutely, because you're right. You're pointing out the youth of their guys. All right, so Scottie, Frank Vogel talked just today. He said LeBron will be the primary ball handler for the near future. This was after yesterday at practice saying he is going to start Rondo at point guard sometimes, but he clarified today, still that means LeBron's handling the ball. What do you think of that?
I love that. I mean, LeBron has been a great decision maker with the basketball his whole career. But for the most part, he's great at managing the floor. And I think at no time more than right now, he needs the ball in his hand. He needs to manage the pace of the basketball game. I think that's going to give him the longevity and the help that he needs going through his regular season. So I love that decision.
Something I'm going to throw a flag on. Last year, they said LeBron was not going to be a ball handler and he was going to be sort of a finisher. That's not who LeBron James is. Right now, they're playing LeBron James as the primary point guard. That's not who LeBron James is. Why not just do with LeBron what he did for 15 years and won MVPs and all went to the finals, which is point forward, modeled after the man sitting next to me, where he creates the offense a lot of the time and some of the time at the end of the game, but doesn't have to be the primary guy that brings up the court. This was not broken. I don't understand why the Lakers tried, and now they've now had 2 different plans, and neither one of them slots LeBron in what he did to become a Hall of Famer.
You know the answer to this. It's both roster issues, both years, last season and this season.
If only they had salary cap space and all kinds of maneuvers, which they had, and they still haven't addressed it.
The reason they said they wanted him to be the finisher and other people to be the ball handlers last season, because they had a roster full of ball handlers instead of shooters. The reason they're in the position now is because they don't have a point guard who can offensively do the things that they would need him to do. You have noted for a season and a half now that Kyrie Irving was such a good complement to LeBron off the ball for all of the things that he could do. That person does not exist.
Heck, you don't need Kyrie. I mean, I'd like to have Kyrie Irving, but again, Mario Chalmers. Go find a Mario Chalmers.
You could actually find Mario Chalmers.
Even Mario Chalmers. Right.
Next up, ahead of Pelicans-Mavs on ESPN tonight. Even though Zion hasn't played a regular season game yet, we do want to know who has a brighter future, Brian, because this was slated as sort of the young guns in the NBA matching up. And it's an interesting question because Zion is projected all over the place, maybe, you know, a LeBron-like future. And Luka Doncic has already showed us
I got
he's
news
pretty
for
bright.
you, Rachel. The future, forget about the future, the present. The present looks good for Luka. I mean, look, Zion is like no player I have ever seen in my life. I have no idea what he's going to become. Nobody knows what this guy's going to do. You know, Scotty, he's 45 pounds heavier than LeBron was as a rookie, and LeBron was one of the biggest rookies we've ever seen. 45 pounds. No one's ever seen a guy like this. So I am tantalized by what Zion can be. So I guess I'll answer Zion, but Luka is doing it now. He had 34 in his first game the other night. He's going to have a lot of those 30-point games this year. I don't know if Zion will have even one.
I got to go with Luka. You know, I got to go with the proof that's in the pudding. And what he did last season was very impressive. On pace to be an all-star this season, his leadership role, being able to run a team, and this year having, you know, opportunity to really get into the postseason. He's coming back this season with more confidence, more leadership, and an opportunity to put his team in the postseason. I'm going to take my hat off to this little man, and not to take anything away from Zion, but Zion has been dealing with a little bit of difficulty since he's sort of left college over the summer, touring around, gained a little bit too much weight. These are going to be obstacles that he's going to have to challenge himself throughout his whole career, and not just over one summer.
I will say Luka gained a little bit of weight after he finished his European championship. I think there is a tendency after you finish some big era in your life, whether it's Duke basketball, where Luka was playing in Europe, to be like, great, I'm taking a month off, guys. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to do whatever I want. We've seen that with some of these rookies. Luka got himself back into shape. I think Zion started the preseason in very good shape, but as you pointed out, he's just big. And we heard from David Griffin after the surgery that Zion had, that they might have to transfer some of that into leaner muscle, that he might have to not lift weights the same way, that he might have to change his body a little bit. Not necessarily how much weight he's carrying, but the way he's carrying it. So we will have to see if that happens. All right, coming up, Steve Kerr says that last night was, quote, not a one-off for the Warriors. We will discuss the difference between the last 5 seasons and the real NBA for the Warriors, as Steve puts it. First, though, here's our second distant replay of the day. I was hoping this would be Allen Iverson again, but apparently producer Bodmer didn't want that for me. He doesn't like me. From 1996, this date.
Don't mess with Oakley.
All right, this is fun, too.
What? How did I miss this? Wasn't that bad? Where was I at?
There is no
Look at that.
What?
Little Charles Somersault over there.
Don't.
I would think the call has to be that they are both ejected.